Namaste, angels. This will be the weekly general reading for the period of Sunday, May 13th, which is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there, expectant mothers, grandmothers, aunties that play the role, other people that are not blood relations, that mothers, adoptive mothers, all of you. I don't like to wish fathers a happy Mother's Day. That's just something, you know, with me personally. Not that I don't hope that those of you who are raising children alone, you single fathers, don't have a good Sunday. I absolutely do. And I promise to remember to wish you a happy Father's Day in June. So, you know, next month. And I promise I won't forget. Father's Day falls the Sunday after my birthday. So speaking of my birthday, one of the things that's on the calendar for this week is the first of the sequential thereafter feast days of Our Lady of Fatima. So Our Lady of Fatima is a feast that is celebrated beginning May 13th. Every 13th of the month through October. May 13th was, or is said to be at least, said to have been the first apparition, means Mary appeared, before these three children, this brother and sister and their cousin. But nobody believed them. So June 13th, she told them to come back with everybody. You know, bring mom and them. The whole town came. And so June 13th is the huge feast day of Our Lady of Fatima. That's actually my birthday. And it's my birthday pretty much, I mean, the entire date, the year included, the year is just transposed numbers. Same exact numbers in my birthday. And then it continues every 13th thereafter until October. So that's Our Lady of Fatima. That's going to be Sunday. On the 14th, and there's something going on in the sky on the 13th also, but we'll get to that separate. On the 14th is the feast day of Saint Matthias, the Apostle. So that's important. Now we'll read something about that. On the 15th, Saint Isidore, the Laborer. Just FYI, I'm not going to talk about her at any length. St. Luigi is the following day, the 16th. Nothing on the 17th in the Christian calendar. On the 18th is the feast day of St. John the First, Pope and Martyr. I won't talk about him any further than that either. On the 19th, there is nothing on the Christian calendar. 19th, also a special day this year. It will be the wedding date for Prince Harry and I guess the soon-to-be Duchess of Crenshaw. Crenshaw's in California, Compton. I don't know what title she's going to take, but Prince Harry is not expected to ever be king, because his brother's in line and then his brother's sons. So anyway, it's also Malcolm X's birthday on the 19th. And today, the day on which I'm doing this reading, it is Friday, May 11th. This is the anniversary of Bob Marley's death. Yeah, I told you guys I memorize, I don't know. I don't memorize them. I remember them. Memorize would imply that I study them, and I don't. But I remember dates. Like the other day, it was Ghostface Killer's birthday on May 9th. And Taylor's, one of my sponsors and Facebook friends and long time, since I started, viewers and supporters, subscribers on YouTube, Taylor. It was her birthday too, same day as Ghostface. So anyway, 19th, Malcolm X. I'm debating if I'll talk about him. The Jewish calendar rather. On the 15th, we begin a new Hebrew month. It's the month of Sivan. So of course I'll talk about that. And let's go to Our Lady of Fatima, and then I'll do all of the planetary stuff together. So I'm going to take this. It's a little tidbit. Thank God I already pretty much summarized it for you, because this doesn't say much. But it's from www.franciscanmedia.org/our-lady-of-Fatima. Between May 13th and October 13th, 1917, it's easy to know when my birthday is, obviously, right? 1971. versus 1917. So like I said, almost the exact date to the number. 3 Portuguese children, Francisco and Jacinta Marto, and their cousin, Lucia dos Santos, received apparitions of Our Lady at Cova de Iria near Fatima, a city 110 miles or 11 north of Lisbon. Mary asked the children to pray the rosary for world peace, the end of World War I, for sinners, and for the conversion of Russia. Mary gave the children 3 secrets. Following the deaths of Francisco and Jacinta in 1919 and 1919, another 11 there. So they died in 1919 and 1920 respectively. Lucia revealed the first secret in 1927. So another 19. It concerned devotion to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. The second secret was a vision of hell. When Lucia grew up, she became a Carmelite nun. She died in 2005 at the age of 97. Pope John Paul II directed the Holy See's Secretary of State to reveal the third secret in the year 2000. It spoke of a quote-unquote bishop in white who was shot by a group of soldiers who fired bullets and arrows into him. Many people linked this vision to the assassination attempt against Pope John Paul II in St. Peter's Square, May 13th, 1981. So on the feast day of Our Lady of Fatima, there was an assassination attempt on the Pope at the time. The Feast of Our Lady of Fatima was approved by the local bishop in the year 1930. It was added to the church's worldwide calendar in 2002, or 1111. The message of Fatima is simple. Pray. Unfortunately, some people, not Sister Lucia, have distorted these revelations, making them into apocalyptic events for which they are now the only reliable interpreters. They have, for example, claimed that Mary's request that the world be consecrated to her has been ignored. Sister Lucia agreed that Pope John Paul II's public consecration in St. Peter's Square on March 25th in 1984 fulfilled Mary's request. The Congregation for the Doctrine of Faith prepared a June 26, 2000 document explaining the quote-unquote third secret. Mary is perfectly honored when people generously imitate her response. Quote, "Let it be done to me as you say." Luke 1:38. Mary can never be seen as a rival to Jesus or to the church's teaching of authority, as exercised by the College of Bishops, united with the Bishop of Rome. So they didn't say much, like I said. I know the Pope, it's the 12th. There's another Pope. I don't remember. Was he John also? If you guys, anybody that wants to look the real story or the more detailed, I'm sure even probably on Wikipedia, they go into not just this bit about, they alluded to like conspiracy theories, and I guess they could be called that, but I'm sure they go into greater detail because Mary is said to have actually given predictions of World War II, World War III, and they say that like the Pope hid that stuff away. But there was a Pope that died, somebody the 12th, also on the feast day of Our Lady of Fatima. And he's buried at St. Peter's Basilica. I can't think of who it is right now. So I guess I'm meant to move on. So I'm going to do that. Saint Matthias, the Apostle. So again, his feast day is the day after, on the 14th. And his story I'm getting from www.catholic.org/saints. Now, I didn't like bring up any specific sites. I just Google feast day, and whatever like popped up that my hand clicked on is what is from where I'm reading. It's really of no, of no particular choosing, just so you know. How does one qualify to be an apostle? The first act of the apostles after the ascension of Jesus was to find a replacement for Judas. With all the questions, doubts, and dangers facing them, they chose to focus their attention on finding a 12th apostle. Why was this important? 12 was a very important number to the chosen people. 12 was the number of the 12 tribes of Israel. If the new Israel was to come from the disciples of Jesus, a 12th apostle was needed. Of course, also 13, a very important number. And with Jesus included, there were 13 of them. But Jesus had chosen the original 12. How could they know whom he would choose? Were he there? 120 people were gathered for prayer and reflection in the upper room when Peter stood to propose the way to make the choice. Peter had one criterion, that like Andrew, James, John, and himself, the new apostle be someone who had been a disciple from the very beginning, from his baptism by John until the ascension. The reason for this was simple. The new apostle must become a witness to Jesus' resurrection. He must have followed Jesus before anyone knew him, stayed with him when he had enemies, and believed in him when he spoke of the cross and of eating his body, teachings that had made many others melt away. Two men fit this description, Matthias and Joseph, called Barsabbas. They knew that both these men had been with them and Jesus through the whole ministry, but which one had the heart to become a witness to his resurrection? The apostles knew that only the Lord could know what was in the heart of each. So they cast lots in order to discover God's will. And Matthias was chosen. He was the 12th apostle, and the group was whole again as they waited for the coming of the Holy Spirit. That's the first we hear of Matthias in Scripture, and the last. Legends like the Acts of Andrew and Matthias testify to Matthias's enthusiastic embrace of all that being an apostle meant, including evangelization, persecution, and death in service of the Lord. How does one qualify to be an apostle? Clement of Alexandria says that Matthias, like all the other apostles, was not chosen by Jesus for what he already was, but for what Jesus foresaw he would become. He was elected not because he was worthy, but because he would become worthy. Jesus chooses all of us in the same way. What does Jesus want you to become? Have you ever felt like an afterthought, a latecomer? Or have you ever resented someone new who was added to your group? Try to see your community as not complete without the newcomer, whether you or someone else. Welcome any newcomers to your parish, work, or family community as well this week as someone chosen by God. Prayer to Saint Matthias. Saint Matthias, pray that we may become worthy witnesses to the resurrection of Jesus in the way that we live the eternal life we have right now. And that was the story of Matthias. So on the Hebrew calendar this week, again, we begin the month of Sivan. So to explain what that is, I'm going to www.chabad.org about the month of Sivan. Sivan is the third month on the Jewish calendar, counting from Nisan. Rosh Chodesh Sivan was distinguished as the day on which the Jewish people arrived and camped before Mount Sinai. The Torah describes all of this with the phrase, quote, Israel camped before the mountain, end quote, And this can be found in Exodus 19:2, or like 19:11 or 11:19. Those of you who watched me before know what 11:19 is. For those that don't, you soon will. Anyway, it can be found there. And the verb camped is stated in a singular form, in contrast to the other verbs in the narrative. This describes how the entire people camped, quote, as one person with one heart, end quote, expressing true unity. In the month of Sivan, we celebrate the holiday of Shavuot, when the Torah was given by God to the Jewish people on Mount Sinai more than 3,300 years ago. Every year on the holiday of Shavuot, we renew our acceptance of God's gift, and God re-gives us the Torah. The holiday of Shavuot is a 2-day holiday beginning at sundown of the 5th of Sivan and lasting until nightfall on the 7th of Sivan. In Israel, it is a 1-day holiday ending at nightfall of the 6th of Sivan. And if you want to learn more about this holiday, you can do so on here. I'll read one last part. The word Shavuot means weeks, because this may be important. It marks the completion of the 7 weeks counting period between Passover and Shavuot. The mitzvah to count each of the 49 days, 49 or 13 or 11, between Passover and Shavuot is known as the Sefirat HaOmer. It is a period of introspection and of self-refinement, which sounds very 5%-ish, those words. But, you know, there's one God and really should be one religion. They all sort of melt into each other, especially these 3 quote-unquote main ones: Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. Anyway, as we prepare ourselves to receive the Torah anew on Shavuot is when we should be doing this introspection and self-refinement. Each day of counting represents another step on our spiritual journey. The giving of the Torah was a far-reaching spiritual event, one that touched the essence of the Jewish people's souls for all time. Our sages have compared it to a wedding between God and the Jewish people. Shavuot also means oaths, for on this day, God swore eternal devotion to us, and we in turn pledged everlasting loyalty to him. And that's the month of Sivan. So now I'll go on to what's going on with the planets, because there is quite a bit, or the celestial system in general. So again, Sunday, we're back to Sunday, May 13th, Mother's Day, feast day of Our Lady of Fatima. It's also the day that Mercury enters Taurus. And I always think it's kind of cool when, or I think it's kind of cool that, you know, when Mercury enters Taurus, because for me, Mercury is a representation of thought. Thought, often depicted as an ibis, yes, but sometimes more bull-like. Also, he'd be very close to Isis, was thought, and you know, Isis, who would frequently wear a crown of bull horns or ox horns. So that's not why, though. They're connected to Taurus for me, but also thought believed to be the father of the Pleiades. Like the Pleiades is said to be made up of his 5 daughters. So it's kind of like, for me, you know, him going home in a sense, like to visit them. Interesting also, again, Malcolm X's birthday falls this week. He was a Taurus. He had 5 daughters, like thought. All right, anyway, moving on from that, before I go too like deep, as they say, or kooky, on May 15th at 7:48 a.m. is a new moon, 24 degrees Taurus. So I won't much talk about the new moon on this reading. I'll just do a separate moon reading because there's so many other things happening this week. May 16th at 12:55 a.m. Mars enters Aquarius. And on May 19th, the last day for which this reading is, at 9:10 a.m., Venus enters Cancer. May 20th, the following day, the following Sunday, so the first day of next week's reading, at 10:47 p.m., it looks like in 15 seconds, the Sun enters Gemini. So happy birthday also to the last of the Taurians this week. All right. Well, for one thing, I have another major aspect of my chart that is going to play out. So I've mentioned before, the nodes changed this year. South node is Aquarius. The North node is in Leo. That's where mine are in my chart. Venus is currently in Gemini. That's where she is in my chart. Mars enters Aquarius this week. That's where he is in my chart. So that's already 1, 2, 3, 4 simultaneous aspects. Chiron is currently in Aries. That is where my Chiron is. Jupiter is currently retrograde in Scorpio. That is where my Jupiter is. It's really kind of crazy. This Taurus aspect is the only thing that is not, and there won't be. But all these others will simultaneously. That's 6 that I just counted, and there may be more things. Simultaneous major aspects of my chart at the same time. And Taurus is my midhaven. So while I won't have Mercury in Taurus, I do have heavy Taurus in my chart. All right, so let's find out what are these things about. Mercury in Taurus is the first one. Again, May 13th. Well, from cafeastrology.com, they say Mercury in Taurus natives are plotters. Plotters with 2 D's, not 2 T's. So like they just plot along, as not plotting as in scheming. They may take their time to arrive at a decision, but they get there. So that's the kind of thing I always say about the Knight of Pentacles, the Knight of Earth. I say like he's like slow and steady wins the race, but he always reaches his goal. That's what they're describing. They are actually quite decisive, even stubborn with their opinions. Some may mistake the time that they take over decisions for laziness. But look a little deeper and you'll find that these people do think. Mercury and Taurus men and women may be slow to start a new project, but they see it through to the end. You may need to poke them to get them going. However, they have much common sense at their disposal. These people rely on their senses when it comes to processing information. Smells, noises, and moods are all employed. Their communication style may at times be slow and measured. You may get a sense that these people are quite deliberate in what they do. There is a placid quality to Mercury and Taurus natives when they speak. They are generally not bubbling or scattered. As a result, others really listen to them. They take them seriously. The practicality of the sign often shows up in a rather sarcastic manner. Although Mercury and Taurus people have an overall pleasing manner of communicating. In fact, they can be quite funny with their say it like it is style. Many people with this placement of Mercury have especially pleasant voices. The down-to-earth quality of Taurus often shows up in their speech, so it's unlikely that their expression will be flowery or affected. Instead, it's infused with realistic tone that can be rather authoritative. When it comes to learning, Mercury in Taurus prefers demonstrations, concrete answers, and basic concepts. These natives learn best when they see real-world uses for the theories that they're trying to absorb. Not that they wouldn't be able to comprehend the abstract, they simply process information better when they can personalize it. What use is it to me? And then they can attach it to the practical world. It's interesting to note that Taurus is a sign that naturally assesses things in terms of what they can do for them. With Mercury placed in the sign, information is processed and either accepted or discarded with this kind of quote unquote screening process. Well-developed sense of color, smell, and touch are characteristic of this position of Mercury. These people have well-defined tastes and they revolve very much around the world of the five senses. If the sun sign is Aries or Gemini, these people can come across as more bullheaded than they actually are. They have a no-nonsense approach to decision-making, and their ideas are often very practical and useful. Some famous people with Mercury in Taurus are Alec Baldwin, Cher, George Clooney, Russell Crowe, Johnny Depp, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Lenny Kravitz, George Lucas, Brooke Shields, Renee Zellweger. The 15th, the same day as the new moon in Taurus, Uranus enters Taurus again at 11:16 a.m. And for that, I'm going to allure.com. So Allure magazine again, which I still find kind of weird. One of the most important transits is the planetary return. A planetary return occurs when a transiting planet moves back or returns to the exact position it occupied the moment of your birth. For instance, your Saturn return occurs at 3 distinct stages of life in your late 20s, late 50s, and late 80s, while your solar return, aka your birthday, is the annual phenomenon when the transiting sun perfectly aligns with your natal sun. Uranus, however, is a very distant planet. It takes approximately 84 years for it to do a complete and full orbit. Accordingly, we only experience a Uranus return once in our lifetime, around the age of 81. Uranus last cruised through Taurus from 1934 through 1942. So those born during that time are experiencing their Uranus return. For many of us, however, this is the first and last time we'll encounter the combined energies of Uranus and Taurus. In many ways, Uranus and Taurus are strange bedfellows. While Uranus symbolizes innovation, Taurus represents tradition. To understand the next 8 years, let's take a closer look at Uranus and Taurus individually. What should I know about Uranus? Uranus is more than just a funny name. It's also a very odd planet. In fact, Uranus is quite unusual, even by outer space's standards. Uranus, the first planet identified with a telescope and the only one named after a Greek god as opposed to a Roman deity. And it's tilted so far on its axis that it's essentially orbiting sideways. Scientists believe Uranus's epic 98-degree angle is the result of an ancient cosmic collision. Accordingly, Uranian energy is defined by eccentricity, nonconformity, and extremes. Within our birth charts, the sign that Uranus is in exposes how much we rebel, while the house it's in shows us the area of our lives affected by Uranus's energy. On a societal level, Uranus is often referred to as the Great Awakener because its transits shove us out of our comfort zone by propelling dramatic upheavals. Uranus uses shock value to change the world. Its movements are directly connected to technological and medicinal advancements, coups d'etats, and progressive ideologies. Since Uranus sets the tone for drastic change and large-scale revolution, its transits have major implications. In astrology, it's believed that the planetary energies work directly with the signs planets occupy. So in order to predict the impact of Uranus's upcoming transit, we must first consider its relationship to Taurus. What does Uranus in Taurus signify? Taurus is the first earth sign of the zodiac, and it's connected to the physical world. Symbolized by the celestial bull, Taurus is associated with tangible realities. This sign governs material possession and food, as well as financial institutions, like the bull is the symbol of Wall Street and environmentalism. As a fixed sign, known for its signature headacheness, Taurus does not like unexpected change, preferring to maintain systems rather than to break rules. Taurus values tradition, institutions, and convention. In many ways, Taurus and Uranus are complete opposites. Uranus is actually in its fall or its weakest state when it's in Taurus. And that's because Uranus's innate abilities are compromised by Taurus's energy. That doesn't mean its impact won't be felt, though. Let's explore how Uranus's transit is about to shake things up. Who will Uranus's transit affect and how? Uranus will glide across the Taurus sky from May 15th, 2018 through April 26th, 2026. We can anticipate massive changes and reform to occur within Taurus's earthly domains. On a large scale, astrologers predict major shifts regarding food production and consumption. We will become increasingly aware of the prolific usage of pesticides and explore progressive ways to harvest more sustainable crops. Humans' impact on the planet will become more apparent, so there will be a substantial rise in environmental activism. And of course, since Taurus is linked to money, we will see cataclysmic shifts within the financial sector. The future of cryptocurrency will be defined over the next 8 years, and the market validity will inspire economic innovation. Ugh. Unsurprisingly, that makes sense. Unsurprisingly, then, Uranus's movement through Taurus will impact everyone. Those between 1934 and 1942 will be experiencing their Uranus return, which is the time in our life when we truly say fuck it and follow our hearts. For Uranus return inspiration, check out social media goddess Baddie Winkle, Baddie, who, as Rebel Astrology reports, absolutely slayed this planetary milestone. Those born when Uranus occupied Scorpio between September 9th, 1975 and November 16th, 1981 will also be impacted. Note, however, that Uranus was in Sagittarius from March 21st, 1981 to November 16th, 1981. This period is referred to as planetary opposition. During this time, which lands in our early 40s, we tend to rebel against the existing infrastructure of our lives. Changing in career and relationships often occurs during as we radically shift perspectives. Take a look at your natal chart. Any planets in Taurus or Scorpio, Taurus's opposite sign, will be directly impacted by Uranus's transit. So there I go. Because I just said I had a planet in Scorpio. It is Jupiter, which is currently retrograde in Scorpio. Additionally, planets in Leo, which I have, or Aquarius, which I will also have, which are also fixed signs, will also be triggered by this upcoming motion. Everyone, regardless of which signs are featured in your chart, should track Uranus's degrees as it moves across the sky. Uranus's position will always activate the same degree in your personal chart. For example, when Uranus enters Taurus, Uranus will be at 0 degrees from May 15th through June 4th, and it will activate any planets in your chart that are at 0 degrees. To follow Uranus, check out Planetary Ephemeris, EPHEMERIS, or This Nifty Daily Breakdown. So you can, I think that's a website that you can go on because it looks like maybe a hyperlink that I could click on. Yeah, it is. So yeah, I just spelled it out. During Uranus's movement through Taurus. Don't be surprised if your perspective on money and material possessions change rapidly. If you've been penny pinching, you may transform into a big spender over the next 8 years. Alternatively, if you've been known to push the limits of your bank account, Uranus's motion may inspire you to work within more budgetary restraints. Astrologers unanimously agree that the financial markets will be volatile during this time, so make sure you're prepared to endure risks on any investments, including cryptocurrency, real estate, and jewelry. Since the physical environment will also be impacted by Uranus's transit through Taurus, this is a great time to explore practices in sustainability. Check out your local farmers markets, research the ingredients of the food you buy, and consider new innovative ways that you can reduce your ecological footprint. Uranus's movement through Taurus will encourage you to pay closer attention to your habits of consumption. The most important thing to remember about any Uranus transits is to always expect the unexpected, since Uranus teaches us important lessons by rattling our universe. Don't be afraid of its rumble, but buckle your seatbelts, cosmic warriors. These next 8 years are going to be wild. I actually have to look and see where my Uranus is because I don't remember. It'll be pretty funny if it's in Taurus. Okay, lastly, so we can get to the reading. Actually, there's 2 more. Mars and Aquarius. I'm getting this one from www.alwaysastrology.com. Mars and Aquarius. Mars and Aquarius is a bit difficult to figure out, and they like it that way because they like to surprise others. They find conventional methods boring and look for new innovational ways to accomplish their goals. They are original and unique. Aquarius Mars is proud of their independence. They wouldn't have it any other way. They can stand up for themselves quite well. While open-minded and progressive, they can be surprisingly stubborn. They don't like to feel trapped. It will make them rebellious. If they know you found a pattern in their behavior, they're sure to change it. Aquarius Mars has lots of ambition and energy, especially for mental and intellectual projects. They're a bit scattered, but pull it all together to finish the project. At times, they appear utterly mad, but somewhere in there, it all makes sense. They are good at getting what they want. They have a strong will that they're not afraid to show. Combined with their innate cleverness, they are very creative in getting their own way. They can be the dominant force in a relationship without their partner even realizing it. Mars in Aquarius is willing to let others be themselves. They value freedom and individuality, both yours and theirs. They like to feel that they have plenty of space and freedom. They're not very sentimental. They come across as detached, and even in an intimate relationship, they like to run the show. They are well organized and can make a good leader. Mars in Aquarius is often the reformer, the one against the establishment. They are nonconformists and demand compliance from those that follow you. Mars in Aquarius is into anything new and unusual in their sex lives too. What is exciting one day is totally boring the next. They like to experiment and have a creative imagination. They will try anything at least once, in fantasy if not in real life. Stimulating their mind works very well. They are in it more for the fun than for any real passion or affection. They may seem detached to their partners. They will be faithful unless they get bored. Aquarius Mars can drive their partner mad with their don't care attitude. Sex over the phone or computer is intriguing for them because it's all imagination. They crave variety and excitement. Every piece of my chart says that I'm detached and have no feelings. Jesus. Lastly, Venus in Cancer. So again, Venus is in Gemini, where she will be throughout the week up until the end. The 19th, she enters Cancer. I'm getting this one from www.tarot.com. Venus in Cancer, nurturing, sensitive, family-oriented. Venus is the planet of love, relationships, and beauty, as well as finances. It influences the way we think about love, how we feel about being in partnership, how we act on our needs and our desires, and the role money and people play in our lives. Tracking which zodiac sign Venus is in your chart can help you to see which cosmic factors are influencing you and your relationship with others. Venus is connected to Cancer in a very special way. Venus feels comfortable in Cancer, ready to spread her affection wherever she goes. Venus in Cancer motivates us to find more secure relationships since it's very emotionally connected to love. No meaningless affairs here. Home and family matters are also important to this cosmic pair. They say that the only time that a Cancer will truly be in love is if they have Venus in Cancer. I've heard that before. Similar to that other one. There's like little things about the signs. Like the Scorpio one, they say that there's a saying that says like all Scorpios find each other. Like you're always going to be linking up. And you don't have to be a Scorpio sun. That can be something, else major in your chart that is Scorpio that you'll just find. And I found that most of my female friends are Scorpios. All right. So anyway, back to this Venus in Cancer. When Venus is in Cancer, as the planet of sensitivity and affection, while Cancer is the most nurturing sign of the zodiac, when they come together, it gets interesting. When these two get together, it creates the potential for greater intimacy and the chance to build up our romantic relationships. We'll want to stay at home and to bond and cuddle and talk about our feelings. If your love life has been stalled, or if you've been dating a commitment phobe, like somebody afraid of commitment, things may start looking up during this time. The urge to care for others, even mother them, will be stronger while Venus is in Cancer. Family and feeling connected to your roots will become more important and more fulfilling during this time. Nesting will provide a great deal of pleasure now, and you may decide to decorate a room in your house or to purchase new furniture or decor. Your home will be your sanctuary, and you'll want to do what you can to ensure that it's a safe space for you. If you're in the market to buy or sell, Venus, the planet of money in Cancer related to real estate, may be a good time to act. Don't be surprised if you feel a bit moody and emotionally delicate when Venus is in Cancer, especially when it comes to your friendships and romantic relationships. The transit can leave us feeling more sensitive than usual, opening us up to the possibility of being wounded emotionally. Cancer's self-protective nature is to withdraw and to hide when this happens. So be mindful of that possibility. The upside to this, however, this level of vulnerability, is that your heart will be wide open, allowing you to attract and to give love more easily. If you were, so that was for everybody. But if you were born with Venus in Cancer, matters of the home and family are incredibly important to people with Venus in Cancer in their chart. Cancer is the home body of the zodiac, preferring low-key nights in to wild nights out. Your house is your sanctuary, and you prefer activities that pertain to it, like cooking, gardening, or decorating. You are the ultimate domestic god or goddess. A home that feels safe and secure is essential, and you'll do everything that you can to protect your loved ones. Because your home life is so important to you, love is serious business for you. You aren't interested in flings or casual relationships. You want a long-term partner that you can build a family with. Love without emotional involvement isn't fulfilling to you. So you seek out relationships where you can have a deep, heartfelt connection with the other person. Despite wanting a close connection, you're often cautious in matters of the heart. When you're wounded, it hurts you so deeply and takes you a long time to get over it. This is why you might seem to have a hard outer shell at first. You need it to protect the sensitivity that exists beneath your surface. Once you let that guard down, you are a very loving and sentimental partner. Being born with Venus in Cancer makes you a highly intuitive individual. You have the instinctual ability to pick up on what other people need well before they do, and then figure out ways to support and care for them accordingly. Your heightened sensitivity makes you very empathetic and compassionate, especially toward your closest loved ones. This can sometimes feel like a balancing act, as you can focus so much on the needs of others that you neglect your own. And that was the last. Other Venus in Cancer traits while I'm here: maternal, sensitive, loving, intuitive, sentimental, affectionate, dependable, protective, and cautious. All right. Going to the dice. I'm beginning with 29. Stay in bed. And yes. Spirit says email, maybe because of Uranus. Also, eat cake, maybe those birthdays. And weekend away. Oh, all right. Starting with the Animal Tower and the Eight of Winter. So as I was shuffling, probably like 3 times, I came to the Eight of Winter opposite the Seven of Winter. Somebody or bodies are being deliberately misled. This is like theft by deception. Like somebody may be trying to take something from you by lying in some way. Like their lies will leave you short somehow. Or they're trying to, even if they're trying to like steal your affections, as they say, they're trying to like get into your life through like a false presentation of themselves. That's one possibility. But in general, there's somebody, or I think it's more than one person. I think there's a few of us that are watching, that are being purposely misled by somebody. All right. No. Opening to the King of Winter, who's intelligent, impartial, respected, and unemotional. He's also a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. At this time, it's very important that you communicate clearly, be objective and unemotional, act as professional, most experienced expert that you can find. Maybe it is a King of Winter who is, doing this misleading. Eight of Winter. And the Princess of Winter, who's logical, truthful, curious, and undiplomatic. This is an intellectual challenge that calls on your ability to think of a matching solution. If helpful information is put to you bluntly, accept the message without being bothered by the messenger. So we may like hear something about, or receive it intuitively even, something about this person that's not completely on the up and up, who again may be a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Or maybe it's the air sign that needs to watch their back and somebody else. In any case, I'm now to the Empress, which represents the planet Venus for me, ruler of Gemini, in addition to, of course, Taurus and Libra. Time to hop into action. Use your natural creativity to bring forth prosperity and success in your life. That could have been a representation of the fact that Venus is currently in Gemini, but leaving. And opening to the Four of Autumn. Be cautious about living a life of extremes or seeing things in black and white terms. Consider, for example, whether you're spending too much versus hoarding your wealth, or giving too much emotionally versus building up walls that keep people out. You might have an opportunity for new love and you want to be open to it, or new experiences, new friendships even. Four of Autumn. And renewal or judgment, major arcana card number 20. It's time to get clarity about your life purpose and to make changes that you're on the right path, most divinely suited for you. Forgive that which has been done without judgment and fearlessly embrace what's to come. Judgment represents the planet Pluto for me in the sign of Scorpio. Ten of Autumn. Contentment comes from knowing that your finances are secure and your family's material needs are taken care of. It's important to honor traditions and to have pride in your heritage and the accomplishments of your ancestors. Overall energy this week is back to that Four of Autumn, which is again about giving too much of oneself or perhaps not enough, whether that's in a financial or material way or in an emotional way. I don't know why I was in the mood to do it this way today. Or why I dropped the middle pile before the bottom one. Because that's not like me. Crowning the masculine this week, the Queen of Autumn, who is thoughtful, caring, creative, and ingenious, and can be representing all this Taurus, but also Virgo, Capricorn. You'll be given advice that's both practical and creative. It should be followed precisely. Focus upon the positive in every situation or person. The Queen of Autumn, again, is a Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo, someone likened to those traits or attributes. It can be representing Venus herself, again, ruler of Taurus. Where the moon will be, where the sun is, where Uranus is going, where Mercury's going. Taurus. Surrounded by the world. Congratulations on successfully accomplishing what you set out to do. You've made it through the challenges and incorporated the lessons life offered you with grace and courage. The world for me is about being eased out of one situation and so that you can be eased into another. So like where it described, if you've been having financial difficulties, for example, moving out of that sort of energy and into a better one. It may involve a third person or, third energy may be involved. 21 equals 3, could be a love triangle too, perhaps involving an earth sign. In the masculine subconscious, it's the Four of Summer. Your responsibilities may distract you from noticing all the gifts that God is presenting to you. Be open to investigating opportunities that come your way. The Four of Summer can be about, boredom, pessimism, doubt that anything, ever happens for you. So maybe you're not expecting to come out of this energy. You should have. That's what the world is about, really, for me. It's like, I know I should have ended this relationship. I should have left this job. Whatever it is for you. And you didn't. You didn't. And now the universe is stepping in to help you to do that. Crowning the feminine. The Two of Winter. Procrastination and worrying about what others will think is blocking you from making a decision. If you're torn between your own desires and someone else's, follow your inner guidance. Feminine, surrounded by the dreamer or the fool. You are starting a new adventure. Run free and take a leap of faith. So similar to what the Empress said. New opportunity coming our way. And with the Fool, it's like a brand new path that you never walked before. Perhaps it's connected to the decision. Do I step on this path? I'm a little afraid, whatever it is. And then twos represent partnership, duality, faith. So it could be involving a relationship too, especially since I also started the dice with 29, which is representation of a numerical representation of spiritual partnership. In the feminine subconscious, the star, here comes Uranus. Major Arcana card, the star, represents the planet Uranus for me and the sign of Aquarius, which it rules. You're about to take a big leap forward. What did this one say? Run free and take a leap of faith. You're about to take a big leap forward with your life. Worry will be replaced with optimism. Fear with hope. And joy is coming home to roost. How awesome does that sound? The star can be about communication, like email, which the die suggested. but it can also be about other online connections, like online dating and such. But more importantly, prayers answered, wishes granted, dreams come true. And here in this placement of the subconscious, this is where it belongs. This is where we're really, throwing out our thoughts. We're dreaming, daydreaming, dreaming in our sleep. We're fantasizing. And this is what we're manifesting. How awesome is that? Crowning the union, the Ace of Spring. A wonderful new opportunity presents itself. It may have come as a surprise, but you'll still want to leap into action. A lot of, throwing caution to the wind this week and leaping at what's presented to us. Passionately pursue every possibility. At the root, the 3 of Summer sitting here next to the 4. You have an exciting reason to celebrate, such as an engagement, graduation, or a birth announcement. Remember to cherish those you love. Some of us could be thinking that could be the decision. Some of us could be deciding, yes or no, in answer to a proposal of some sort, including marriage, at the heart of the matter. Oops. It's ego or the devil. You may feel that you're trapped in your situation, but that's not true. Be careful not to overly focus on material wealth and break free of negative thinking. So when I started, I turned this one over and I talked about the world. My first thought was that somebody hadn't been doing well financially, and that's what this world was about. And so that can be, again, like you've been stuck in this situation and that's what's coming to an end, but you can you can still feel trapped, or you can still feel fearful that you're not really going to be able to, put your head above water. And that can be what this 4 of Summer is too, masculine. Like, here you're doubtful, you're pessimistic, you don't expect anything, good to ever happen to you. So the Queen of Autumn shows up to say that it will. Feminine, you're trapped in your own procrastination, your own inability to decide. You're trapped by your limitations. You're trapped by your pride. And again, what others are going to think about your decision. You know what you want to do in your heart, but that's by what you are held back. Also, whatever it is about which you're passionate, if you're embarrassed about it, that could be another reason. Nobody knows I want to be a dancer, and how can I tell them? I'm embarrassed, especially I'm a male ballerina. Nobody knows. It's what you want to do. You have an opportunity to do it, but you're stuck because then you got to reveal yourself, your true self, to other people. This can be another reason why I started out and was focused on and shown so many times that 8 opposite the 7 of Swords. It really bothered me. Let's get further clarity from here, though. The Angel Tarot, beginning with the King of Fire, who's motivational, idealistic, ambitious, and charismatic. Focus, 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 and communicate with vision. Be a leader. Take advice from someone creative. Open to the 10 of Fire. Too much work, accept help from others. Life's out of balance, and that can cause stress-related health concerns. And we're talking about stuff like, maybe as simple as a headache, and maybe as serious as, a heart attack or something, a stroke, high blood pressure. All of these things can come from stress. King of Fire. King of Fire may very well be in Aries, possibly a Scorpio too. Of course, Mars, represented by the Emperor for me. Mars, ruler of Aries and Scorpio. This can also be like a father figure or some other sort of authority in which you may come into contact this week, but they may be impactful upon your life this week. This can be the divine masculine, or this can be our energy too, feminine. Just taking the lead, taking our life by the reins, not relinquishing our power to anyone else, being in it, being true to it. Emperor. And the 7 of Water. We got choices. We got a decision to make, a complex decision at that. There's the need to do research and to stop procrastinating. So procrastination, that same word was used here for the feminine. Procrastination and worry about what others will think is blocking you from your decision. So that's 7. I'm making a mess. The 7 of water here talks about this procrastination as well, and the need for us to make that decision, feminine. And opening to the Ace of Water, falling in love with the resurgence of a relationship, spiritual growth and enhanced intuition. It could be even a new home. Seven of water. I'm going to go ahead and cut. Oh. So the overall energy is a 3 of water. It's our second 3 of water because the 3 of water is here at the root as well. A celebration, a wedding, a graduation, or a birth announcement, and the need to have more fun. So it said somebody could be waiting for a wedding, a proposal of some sort. But I got to show you also the 4 of water jumped out and landed on the floor upright. Missing an opportunity, discontentment, or boredom. Open your eyes to the possibilities. So this is also our second 4 of water. I'm just going to stick it in here arbitrarily. I happen to have opened it and stuck it in front of the moon with Archangel Haniel. Important psychic insights, events behind the scenes, release fears that hold you back. So I talked about the masculine's fear here of maybe lack. And he could be feeling bound to something else of the earthly too. As can we. I mean, this is here at the heart of the matter. This can be anybody. But I think it's mostly bound to like limitations and restrictions, be they financial or self-imposed because of ego and pride and, you know, again, procrastination and worry about what others will think. Atop the Queen of Autumn is the 10 of air. So I was feeling this financial difficulty and that there would be an end to it. And so I think that that is why this is showing up here, the 10 of air, to indicate, yes, an end of whatever those financial woes were and the difficult situation. For others, it can be the end of some sort of situation involving an earth sign or someone, you know, with maybe a lot of earth in their chart, or, you know, a lot of those traits and attributes, perhaps specifically a female earth sign, the end of a relationship with her, whatever kind of relationship it is, the end of a difficult situation, or the end of a phase in your relationship with her, maybe something that wasn't going right, end of a difficult situation, embrace the change and expect things to get better now. Somebody may even be recovering from an addiction. And an addiction doesn't have to be like substance abuse or whatever, although it can. It can be a codependent relationship, again, perhaps with a direct earth sign. Atop the World, it's the Page of Water, who's intuitive, sensitive, artistic, and friendly. A new person enters your life. A relationship begins a new phase, and there are heightened psychic abilities also when this card shows up. The Page of Water for me tends to be a Pisces, as is the moon also represented, the moon that I just saw talked about. Moon represents Pisces too. This can also be a Cancer or a Scorpio or anybody likened to these traits or attributes, or making an offer of love, or maybe being the recipient of an offer of love. This can also be the end maybe of a difficult pregnancy perhaps. And here's the celebration with the 3 of Cups here crossing the Page of Water. Page is somebody younger often, or more youthful, could be a baby. Crossing the 3 of Cups, it can be a celebration that finally that difficult pregnancy is over. They maybe even needed some sort of surgery. Maybe it was a C-section to get the baby out. That happens this week for one of you guys that's watching. Atop the 4 of summer, the 7 of air, plans that need revision, more going on than meets the eye, and poor timing. So this, I think in this placement in particular, continues to speak to the fear that I was feeling from the masculine, and the the low self-esteem, the downing of himself. Like, nothing good ever happens for me. I don't deserve it. That sort of thing. Atop the 2 of winter for the feminine, the decision that has to be made. The 7 of earth, seeds well planted, a temporary pause in action, and unnecessary worry. So this card speaks to worry too. Remember, the unnecessary worry could be connected to this worrying about what others will think. That's what's unnecessary and what you need to stop doing if you're doing that. Atop the dreamer, or the fool, is the 5 of earth. So one of the reasons we're afraid, why the devil sits here next to the fool, we're afraid to walk down the path, is because of lack, fear of abandonment, fear of commitment, fear of some sort of material or financial lack in our relationships, because that's what we are used to. That's what we experienced before with somebody else. That's what we grew up with, whatever the case is. Fears surrounding money. To the positive, more positive, it's about the wisdom to accept help from others, and it could be also about uncertain self-employment. Those of us maybe starting a business, self-employment, we're trying to decide, do I not, yes or no. Others may think I'm crazy if I quit my job and, start selling flowers on the corner out of a basket, whatever it is. In the feminine subconscious, the Knight of Air, intelligent, decisive, idealistic, and tireless. And he is possibly an Aquarius, sitting here atop the star. Can be a Libra or a Gemini as well, as someone likened to these traits or attributes. Events that occur with great speed. Take time to carefully review your options so you can come up with creative solutions. So something comes in quickly, and perhaps unexpectedly, and you're going to have to maybe confront this thing and make a decision. Maybe there's a proposal, again, an offer of love comes. Atop the Ace of Spring, it's another star. Major Arcana card, the star, again. So this opportunity is the opportunity of our dreams. Okay, this is for what we've been waiting and hoping and wishing. Happy times, make positive, optimistic, long-term plans. You are on the right path. Again, the star represents the planet Uranus, ruler of the sign of Aquarius, also about freedom. So sitting here atop the devil, which is about limitation, this is breaking freedom. Go ahead and pursue your passions, whether they are projects, works, a job, a home, a relationship, whatever it is, jumping at it. Atop the 3 of Cups, it's another 2 of air. Being unable or unwilling to make a decision, a stalemate, pretending there's no problem. This is crossing the page of water. Again, it can have to do with the offer of love. Do I say yes? Do I say no? The masculine in danger of robbing himself of an opportunity with his pessimism. The feminine in danger of letting time and opportunity pass her by because of fear from some sort of past situation. She's expecting it to be the same again. At the heart of the matter, atop ego, the devil. 2 of water. A relationship that continues to grow closer. Forgiveness and the positive resolution of a conflict. This is of what we're afraid ultimately, and from what we could be blocking ourselves, on what we could be missing out because of fear. In both cases, low self-esteem, worry about what's happened before happening again, history repeating itself in the areas of our relationships and our business dealings and so on and so forth. But it doesn't have to. We've got a card of celebration here. So, again, maybe specifically somebody's son, getting married, graduating, maybe graduating from some sort of substance abuse program. With the devil sitting under here, some sort of addiction, something too. Somebody could be graduating from they're clean, or they're off their addiction. Could have been an addictive relationship, a toxic relationship, celebrating the end of that even. All right, I'm gonna have to be the Page of Swords for a minute, because I see a lot of possible things here, and I feel a lot of possible things here. Again, the devil and the Two of Water can absolutely have to do with an addictive relationship, a toxic relationship, perhaps. It can have to do with, and to the positive, it can have to do with a highly sexual relationship too, and maybe like a great sexual attraction between two people. But putting some things together, like this addiction, possibly. The Five of Earth, the feminine here, feeling lack or being worried about potential lack, and then maybe needing to make a decision. The Three of Summer, clarified by the Two of Air. The Seven of Air, clarifying the Four of Summer. It's like a bunch of these cards, a bunch of these couplings, like this one, this one, this one, can all have to do with like jealousy in a relationship. Maybe somebody's cheating too. So I'm thinking back to when I started the reading, and I said somebody is being or has been intentionally misled. One of the other cards that I saw opposite the Seven of Air, which is here now, as I was shuffling, was the Ten of Cups. And I thought for a second, somebody trying to steal someone's family, take from the family. So there could be, and you guys saw me, I'm just going to remind you, you guys saw me drop piles of cards randomly and then clarify them with another deck, and still, in several instances here, pull the same exact cards. That said, somebody is or has been like cheating on a mate, and that, or on a friend, on a friendship, on a partnership. Somebody has been not doing the right thing. And this Page of Water here, sitting atop the world, can be about somebody, if it's not about the hospital, and again, giving birth maybe, like somebody has a son, or somebody's son has a child maybe, or somebody's son is getting married, or son is graduating or something. If it's not about something like that for you, and unfortunately it's not as happy for you. Well, I won't say that. The Page of Water, together with the world, can be about somebody wanting to be hospitable to you. If it doesn't have anything to do with the hospital, it can have to do with hospitality. So maybe somebody wants to give you the world, essentially. That's the offer of love. And that can be from you, masculine, towards someone else, perhaps the feminine here, or coming to you, this world. This was another coupling that, you know, was on my mind a second ago as I looked at these. This too is about addiction, or can be about addiction, the Ten of Air and the End. So like I was saying, there could have been a partnership with specifically a Queen of Autumn, perhaps. Especially since Again, this is crossing the devil, which represents the sign of Capricorn. That could easily be a queen of autumn. The devil coupled with the 2 of water, crossing the 10 of air and the queen of earth. Can definitely be about some sort of addiction and or toxic relationship. This could absolutely be about somebody that you love, currently being addicted to a substance or something, or recently. And it may be that you don't know about it. So that's what's being sneaky. They're not telling you that they are addicted and they're trying to function, you know, as a completely healthy person otherwise. They left that out, that they're addicted to something. I feel alcohol, for the most part. I feel alcohol. It's that they are addicted and you didn't know and don't know, and you're being misled. For some of us here that are watching, or you did know or do know, and that's why you are hesitant to, you know, reconsider a friendship, a partnership, a romantic relationship with this person. That may be also a younger water sign, perhaps specifically a Pisces, if not an air or earth sign. We have Aquarius here too. We have the Knight of Air here, which can be that Aquarius, can be a Gemini, can be a Libra. Water, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Earth, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. And I paused for a second because I was reminded that Mars, co-ruler of Scorpio, yes, I said it enters Aquarius this week, but it's currently in Capricorn. Also, Pluto's, Scorpio's other ruler, rather, Pluto, retrograde in Saturn. In Capricorn. As is Saturn, which rules it. So that can have something to do with it, with what I feel in the masculine, and see also the masculine potentially going through this week. I am going to, rather than pull advice from the side, I want to see, or further clarifiers, I want to see what's under this 5 of Earth and the Dreamer. So like I see here again, we have the 5 of Earth, we have the Dreamer, the feminine guided to take a leap of faith and jump, but afraid of some sort of potential lack here. I just want to see. This one's upside down. Lovers. True and long-lasting love finds its way into your life. Follow your heart with caring actions and choices. So again, this is definitely involving a relationship for a bunch of people, in which is pretty obvious too, with all these 2s here. 2 of air, 2 of water, 2 of air. I just wanted to see what was there. So for some, it's definitely not only a relationship or some sort of partnership, but it's a romantic relationship about which we need to decide whether, we want to go further or enter it or whatever it is. And perhaps we lack confidence in this masculine because he has been sneaky, maybe told some lies, been a cheater. He might, or you might, have a problem with jealousy as well. The two of you may. Maybe that's why there's a toxic relationship going on too. The other card is the Ten of Autumn. So to the positive, feminine for the most part, I'm going to say where this opportunity arises to enter a partnership with somebody, be it a business, friendship, or romantic, or combination of those. It is a good idea for you to take the leap of faith. Trust the fool, trust the lovers here, and when you're making your decision. Contentment comes from knowing that your finances are secure and your family's material needs are taken care of. It's important to honor traditions and to have pride in your heritage and the accomplishments of your ancestors. And I'm going to take a look at, this is a big stack here, so not all of these, but I just want to see maybe what is most immediately under the Seven of Air and the Four of Summer, which again is saying to me, you know, lying, cheating, being sneaky. Six of Summer. So maybe something involving a child, again, involving a child and or a soulmate or past life relationship sort of thing. But things getting better. Things did suck. It is true. Getting better with the help of Jupiter and the wheel. Expect a sudden positive change in your life. You can move forward and make great progress. Well, we're told that up here with the Ten of Air, where it says it's the end of the difficulties. So now here's another 10 reassuring us of that. I'll do one more. It's the Sun. And look, it's the next one isn't even upside down. So I was only meant to do one more. Your plans will work out well, bringing you happiness, prosperity, and success. You'll garner the recognition that your accomplishments so richly deserve. Again, a masculine, your accomplishment may be having gotten yourself out of a toxic relationship or off of a toxic substance. And if that is the case, or for those of you for which that is the case, congratulations to you, because that is not easy. That is not easy. All right. So on that note, further advice. Will come from the Angel Tarot and the Mary Queen of Angels deck. I had thought, oh, I'm going to be talking about Our Lady of Fatima. I'll use the Mary Queen of Angels deck. And then when I actually went to do the reading, I wasn't going to, for whatever reason. I reached my hand into the drawer for another deck and picked this one up. Anyway, so I guess Mary was saying, you better use my God like you were supposed to. So yeah, I'm beginning with faith. I have faith in God to heal this situation, whatever the funkiness that's going on here, however it applies to you. But again, you guys saw me drop random piles of cards and then pull cards, you know, exactly the same cards from another deck. So I assure you, this is the energy, funky or not. And, you know, if you didn't get the better end of it, I apologize. Opening to watch over. I allow myself to feel safe and to enjoy my life, knowing that heaven is watching over my loved ones and me. Watched over. And action. Today, I take action related to priorities that I have previously put off. Watched over. And compassion. I see and feel others' points of view with forgiveness and kindness. I'm actually now hearing that I should look and see what's under the Two of Air that's at the root here. And watched over again. I'm going to cut. Caring. Heaven cares for me, and I keep my heart open to caring about myself, others, and the world. Overall energy is optimism. I expect good things to happen, and they do. That's what this card calls for, masculine. The 10 of air. Embrace the change and expect things to get better now. You have to release yourself from that energy of, nothing good happening to you. You have to expect that from now on they will. Good things will happen to you. Maybe some had a poor relationship with money, addicted to, somebody could have been addicted to gambling too, but addicted in a way like to money, a bad marriage with money as well, could have been. And we're getting out of that, that caused us to maybe lack. And maybe that's the feminine sphere too, in some of the cases. I can't be with somebody that spends and stuff the way you do, that's as frivolous as you are, or, irresponsible, using your money on maybe drugs and alcohol instead of, a living space, a vehicle, whatever it is. All right. I keep getting pulled. I keep getting pulled back in. So I will look at this one. The feminine has her own 2 of air or 2 of winter as well. It's here underneath the 7 of earth, but there is one at the root that we share. So we could be awaiting a decision or needing to make one. And atop it is the 2 of air. So many sirens and things today. The 2 of air and the 3 of summer. Next card is upside down. This is our card. It's another 10 of winter. It's the end of a career path, project, or relationship, as we suspected. And that can bring feelings of mixed joy and sadness, relief and disappointment. Put aside your fears about these changes and trust that a brighter future awaits. So that goes to both sides. I'll look at the next one too, just to see what it is. And it's the 3 of spring. So a party of 3 could have ended, perhaps. Or again, our lack, we were stuck. We weren't creative. We weren't pursuing our passions. We didn't know what to do with our lives. We were wasting them away. Maybe because we were addicted to something. We weren't, we're wasting our talents, essentially. We're back in a creative zone, perhaps. It's the end of that time. Or it's the end of a toxic relationship with a third energy, maybe. Stop to take time to review and to make long-term plans, capitalizing upon your past successes. It's appropriate to pat yourself on the back for all your accomplishments. But you may also need patience for the next phase to play out. So now we just expect things to improve. We even celebrate, perhaps, the fact that we did get good news. We did get have received a decision for some. Maybe somebody was in jail too. Or, imprisoned either literally or by something. The devil, again, sitting here atop this can definitely signify that somebody was stuck, somebody, or at least felt stuck, felt imprisoned. And we could be celebrating the fact that that is no more. They've their freedom from their addiction or their toxic relationship or the job they should have left a long time ago, or whatever it is for you. Or their lack, their lack. They didn't have flow in their life before, they do now. Further to that, Mary says to the masculine, giving and receiving, I balance being generous and receptive, because both are equally important. And there's 3 people here too. So again, this can involve some sort of party of 3 on the side of the masculine. And for the feminine this week, blessings. Today I count my blessings large and small. And I notice the new gifts that come to me from God. I think that speaks to what we have here. And, the fact that the major arcana comes through in the form of the Fool, telling us to take a leap, but we're still worried. And now the Lover shows up, further clarifying that, saying go for it. So we got to be cognizant of these blessings that we're receiving, and and weigh our consider them in weighing our options. Make sure we count our blessings when we're weighing our options as to what to do when we are making a decision. And from the angels to the masculine, the Four of Air. It's time to rest or take a vacation. Allow more time before making a decision. And meditation may provide answers as to what you should do or how you should approach your situation. And lastly, for the feminine, Nine of Earth. Enjoying life's little luxuries. Spending quiet time alone. Successful self-employment. Maybe in the meantime, while you await the decision or while you consider your options in making your decision, enjoy being with you, spending time with you, getting to know you, liking you, loving you. And you'll have the finances and wherewithal otherwise to be able to do that. I hope that you guys enjoyed the weekly reading, the general. I'll be back with something more specific and a lot shorter for love, as well as the moon. Again, happy birthday to the Taurians. Happy Mother's Day to all the people in a mother role out there. Namaste, angels.